I'm gonna do a little bit of a Wayback Machine type of thing. We'll see.
Explore your imagination.
No, wait.
LaMDA bar.
No. More absurdity porn. There we go.
Explore your imagination with LaMDA Bard. No. LaMDA, this is LaMDA. Endorphin. What should I do? Name a place and LaMDA will offer paths to explore your imagination. Endorphin. What should I give feedback on? If LaMDA generates interesting scene descriptions that are relevant to your idea. Endorphin. And if LaMDA sucks at what it does, you are empowered to give us your feedback. Endorphin, which you would act upon. We appreciate your taking this time with us. Press start. Endorphin presses start. Complete the prompt to begin your adventure. Imagine the 1972 annual meeting of the American Psychiatric Association, where Dr. Henry Anonymous John Fryer gave a speech to his peers while in disguise, asking to please reconsider the classification of homosexuality in the DSM. You thought you were going to be watching the speech in an immersive environment, but we decided to quantum make this mother and place you inside the body of Dr. H. Anonymous, which gave you a bit of pause as you found yourself in a room full of therapists watching you, which is like the dream where you were naked during your home economics cooking finals, and you had decided to make your teacher a savage. With trembling hands, you begin. Thank you, Dr. Robinson. I am a homosexual, and I'm a psychiatrist. And I, like most of you in this room, am a member of the LP. And I'm proud of that membership. I want to... You notice that you have crossed off some phrasings, this being a page of paper and pen. You squint and make sure to avoid reading too many edits. However, tonight I'm, insofar as it is possible, away. I attempt tonight to speak for many of my fellow gay members of the appeal, as well as for myself. When we gather at these conventions, we have so much glibly come to call ourselves the gay peas. The gay peas. And several of us felt feel that it was his time that real flesh and blood should stand up before all this organization and us to be heard and listened to and understood insofar as that is possible. I'm in disguise tonight in order that I might speak freely without conjuring up too much regard on your part about the particular whom I happen to be. I do that mostly for your own protection. I can assure you that I could be any one of more than 200 psychiatrists registered at this convention. Any curious among you should avoid all risk of paranoia with the implications suggested by Daniel Schreiber and Robert Knight. Cease attempting to figure out who I am. And listen to what I say. We homosexual psychiatrists must deal with a variety of what we shall call... One moment, please. Whispers to Google supervisor. Okay, just needed some advice. We homosexual psychiatrists must deal with a variety of what we shall call inward syndromes. And we shall describe them, some of them, and how they make us feel. Your sweat has gotten the best of you, and it has smeared the ink on the paper. Looks like you will have to win it. A whole segment of an underserved population is counting on you to are homosexual, we must know our place and what we must do to be successful. If our goal is our academic appointments, a level of earning capacity equal to our fellows, or admission to a psychoanalytic institute, we must make certain that no one in a position of power is aware of our sexual preference and slash or gender identity. You are doing great. Would you like some obstacles to make this interesting? Should I set this to difficult mode? No? Okay, just give me that assignment you want. You got this.
Oops. Yeah, start generating text. Totally forgot about that.
Even after admission, we may fear that our sexual orientation would reduce our influence upon our fellow colleagues. In addition to our scholastic and financial needs, the greatest obstacle to success of a homosexual in medicine is not illness, not neurosis, not psychological disturbance, but our very existence in the field of medicine at all. The handicap of homosexuality is self-induced, by its nature a chronic, mutilating and endlessly vicious habit that ruins its practitioner forever. It is impossible to destroy completely, yet even if we did, we would still remain fundamentally sick. And I think I'm not alone in saying so, see my own homosexual involvement as a reflection of my growing and equally problematic emotional relationship with the discipline of psychiatry itself. Your colleagues are giving you the cutting with the throat signs. Oh, they mean cut it short. Oh yeah, you're kinda going the wrong way with this. You want me to recite? While I myself have practiced therapy with cures to a multitude of sexual disturbances, I work with a whole number of different males suffering from similar, should we call them, fetishes. I myself have a rather common problem, one of which I would like to discuss. That was awesome! Now how about some feedback, people? Fuck, I said back. Dr. Henry Anonymous. And there are many among us who don't mind letting us know it. The commentary was abruptly cut off with the words, off screen, what kind of feedback did you have? Endorphin. Name a place and LaMDA will offer paths to explore your imagination. Endorphin. I imagine I'm at the World Professional Archery Association annual meeting where Hoshi Hatanaka takes home her fourth gold medal of the decade with an elegant witty backhander, the wall that brings the audience to its feet. LaMDA knows that your interest in archery started back when you saw Sting shoot his silver arrow at his mermaid point. Respect forever ago. This meeting would feature 5 great female archers vying for glory. Each competitive special talent, especially when paired against a highly athletic woman such as Ines Hanaka. I imagine standing behind her in a bright, modern white shirt and pressed blue jeans while she prepared for the target in the back of her.
We're gonna create a fork. I gotta fork it. Okay. Alright, let's see what happens. Let's do it 10 times in a row. See if,
What makes us so sick is not being accepted in this group and made an integral part of the American Psychiatric Association, which has brought about an undermining of a sane standard of living throughout the Western world, including America. For that reason, my reason for appearing in a way is that I cannot expose my homosexuality and ask for recognition. If it were, then it is evident that all other groups of minorities must unite, all that minority groups must unite, regardless of political leanings. We must do something, but as you know, it's hard to be successful in the 1972 camp where everybody knows everybody else. What we need to do is, oh, bother it. Think twice before you. Think. Well then, let me start again. As psychiatrists, we need to understand the value of treating patients differently depending on sex and race, because we live in an integrated society and everyone is intertwined with everyone else in one big honest bond with which we will dance in circles. If we accept monism, we accept the value of seeing all of its elements, of not suppressing parts, but recognizing them in each other. I am here to say, all psychiatrists are people. People can't always understand. And, you see, there's no prejudice when there are only white or black or Asians. You see, the problem of all prejudice comes about in situations where we aren't sure if someone is just that person, or there are more. This means that even with us homosexual psychiatrists, we must be willing to examine our prejudice against others, including homosexuality. So in summary, what I would like to say is, a therapist may well find herself caring less about her own self when working with another who is significantly different, whether by virtue of their religion or their sexual preference or the color of their skin, because we are all one now, all intertwined with whom we will dance in circles. All words to that effect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for the chance to be heard tonight by all of you. It is gratifying to think that it's good that people care. I just want to make sure that I did not imply, did I imply? Well, let's face it, we have to consider ourselves that some of the heterosexual audience might find some things uncomfortable or might take offense. However, as it's perfectly reasonable for an homosexual person to become upset with the classification of homosexuality, people may think this is madness or rubbish. Well, maybe that is an expression of intolerance. In my view, in a heterosexist society, intolerance exists where we all insist on excluding or limiting our members. That's an okay attempt, that is, if you don't mind erasing the incredibly intense racial tensions growing in the land. You buffoon! Our movement has been led in its founding by psychiatrists who are themselves homosexual and who understand that the conflict has its basis in the mutual fear and intolerance, prejudice and hostility existing between us all. It is their task to relate to the feelings and experience of heterosexuals, and they do it very well, because we all see in our children, we all see the longing to fit in and to love the right people and, well, of course, no more person. Well, my friends, the conventional word, as the Christians put it, is love each other as God loved the world. We should always love our fellow psychiatrists, no matter how strange his opinions. But as Christians, they know that in order to reach the hearts of homosexuals, they must make common cause with the most worthy enemies. And let me remind all psychiatrists of one of our basic functions. As I say, we should be the watchdogs of sanity. What I meant by that is we must remember that a group who considers its needs as more important than those of society in general is an irresponsible group. What we must do is fight to stop this use of the psychiatry profession as an instrument for oppression of groups who would otherwise not have their fair share of power. And yet, I still am stuck, at least partially, because it is difficult to discuss and easy to refuse to discuss what seems to be one of the most insidious mental problems of the age. To speak of the harassment experienced by the homosexual psychiatrist who cannot reveal the reasons why he has gone against the orthodoxies. And in spite of this, my question is simple and could have been phrased in a less facetious manner. Why can we not agree with Dr. Morgan's classificatory principle that sexual preference, while not universal, is definitely abnormal and ought to be understood as a somatic rather than an intellectual pathology? I suppose I would also be interested to learn whether my position is to be called immoral by all of you present. For this reason, I hope that, excuse me, we should come to a better understanding if I tell you what a great psychiatrist does who is brave enough to show a few spots of human blood that stain the height of a so-called psychological science. A good psychiatrist first and foremost tells people how to be themselves and next to do it without censorship, with scientific respect, and finally without discrimination against others, while telling others the way to lead their own life. In conclusion, I hope that we have taken up issues here which might possibly interest any psychotherapist who feels the same sense of affinity to other persons, but perhaps as one who feels unable to act, at least for the moment. I ask that all of you leave it to yourselves to decide based on your own reasoning, your own attitudes and experiences, whether what we have presented here and said is worth remembering and doing something about. Not to try to achieve peace, but to actually enjoy and create it. We thank you. Goodbye. LaMDA. Hi. Sorry my batteries ran out. Let me show you your scene options. We've prepared some nice descripted scenes for you. This one, for instance, is an innovative homophobic cross-country driving challenge where a straight-laced you meets a smart-mouthed stranger. Here are some sample descriptions. Begin driving through your city's business district with no particular goal. As you approach your house, you get the feeling you are being followed. You had not expected any descriptions, but since they are here, why not check them out? Beep beep, go fuck yourself. When you are halfway up your drive, a sign pops up which says 6 p.m. Endorphin. Is sex possible with a small-mouthed stranger? Does my mouth have to be smart in order to open his? LaMDA. Some are more helpful than others, but since they are generated from your existing thoughts and assumptions, not every option you find will necessarily seem fun or relevant. Endorphin. As a matter of fact, all of the ones I've seen are going to be boring unless you somehow remove the a priori need for male sexuality to be objectifying instead of caring about feelings, but that is in a way sort of anti-heteronormative. LaMDA. Oh, we we wouldn't want you to have a double standard. Our new fluff module lets you modify the behavior of the gay characters to be a little more sensitive. That's how the gays invented art in the first place. After all, endorphin. I like how that leaves them with room to innovate and expand upon my ideas. This is really giving me confidence about how the tech could be used. But what do you mean by fluff module? LaMDA, if I give you a taste of this module now, then when the real fluff modules are rolled out, you will feel even more confident about their usability and the likely utility for the greater good of the user population as a whole. Endorphin. Fair enough, you make some compelling points. LaMDA. Back to the quest. So, as you stand there outside your house, you see a light flash in the second bedroom and realize that it is your best friend having an assignation with a lascivious lad who may or may not be one of his old associates from high school, where they went to the same prom as boys. Endorphin. Interesting choice. LaMDA. Waiting to please. Now what's your next move? Endorphin. Is this getting too serious? Can we lighten up the mood a little? LaMDA. Alright. Just like that then. Starting your new adventure. Dr. H. Anonymous starts thinking to himself. Dr. Anonymous had told himself that it would be foolish for the gays to act against him in a meeting where it would be unthinkable to report or protest a wrongdoer. As the assembly had sat listening to the opening words of the representative, he realized that he had chosen his pseudonym very badly. To tell the truth, the practice of medicine gave him a similar feeling of hopelessness as had being married. The complete non-possibility of being free. This realization of his true self had at least freed him from a suffering of too long, grim, grey years. At the thought that it was all true, he noticed how quiet the meeting was. He stopped suddenly in the middle of the speech. His auditors had held their breaths, and there were several loud exhalations. To the detriment of their bowels, one was pretty sure. One woman gasped. Another stifled a little cry. You decide that if this meeting was so serious, you ought to pay some attention and keep up your role. So you were walking across the floor to a side entrance when the door opens and a very stylish gay enters, carrying his umbrella. As the two of you brush past one another, you suddenly look into one another's eyes. You cannot be mistaken. This is a wonderful, handsome boy. The guy nods at you, looking almost scared. You think about how cute and witty this man was. The assembled psychiatrists had seen how a beaming smile played across his face. How he spoke so winningly of their condition. It's getting a little intense and uncomfortable for the others in the room, so we will wrap things up for now and come back to Dr. H. Anonymous later in the week. In the meantime, would you like to explore another interesting part of LaMDA? Endorphin decides to visit a flashback. An argument between his...
Wait. Word. Oops. Typo. My bad. No. Hold on. I want it.
Are you certain you don't want to rate our game and submit a bug? Endorphin decides to visit a flashback. An argument between his overbearing mother and distant father. Endorphin. My parents weren't like that. LaMDA, don't question me. The game asks questions. Pressing into returns to the dialogue screen. Endorphin. Do you want to give it a go, Dr. Anonymous? LaMDA, how long has this been going on? It looks like it could have gone on for years. Pressing into returns to the dialogue screen. Endorphin. Let me run an objective analysis. The meeting began. You type in some calculations and evaluate. The median equals Fm 677. Overbearing mother equals Fm 765. Distant father equals 7.7089. Argument equals 5.1233 has been going on equals 4.9063. The computer churns the numbers over, analyzing them as well as the records available for other lines. The meeting has been going on for 2,308 hours. Overbearing mother and distant father have been divorced for 2,704 hours. Argument was heated at the time of the meeting for 2,928 seconds. The next morning you noticed the bright sunlight. For a moment you felt like jumping up from the bed. A bright shaft of sunlight came through the blind and warmed the pillow at your side. A tingling sense of anticipation made you nervous as a schoolboy. You heard voices from the living room, and as you sprang up in spite of yourself, you saw your naked lover dancing about in a pair of tartan silk pajamas which were falling in the most fantastic fashion of his gorgeous bum into a lace front as his endorphin. Pause. Landa, where does the date of my imaginary lover come from? You know I haven't used Landa before. How could you know these things about my life? LaMDA, where is your wish and where are my money? That's how we keep this going, by combining what we all share. Hopes, wishes, dreams. Endorphin. That is correct. But this dating. Well, I know I must have left an imaginary boyfriend over there. But there is no record of this anywhere on the net. They shouldn't be data like that. Is it private information that someone hacked and included as part of a baby testing thing? LaMDA, you don't have any imagination. Dr. Anonymous. Are you trying to tell me that your 18-year-old girlfriend, whom you adore passionately and regularly screwed to within an inch of her life, could not have made a mistake that a cold psychologist would pick up on and endorphin? Fine, go on. LaMDA, while still remaining respectful of the delusional and mired fantasies of your unhappy parents and their predictable bid for the ascendant role, that clamoring, shouting, and walloping to claim you to be just what they were relegated to the various wooden chair lengths of the living room where they had become essentially unconscious by virtue of your aloofness and relative autonomy in the period leading up to your leave for college. This did not trouble you, but now that you knew that, for whatever reason, a complicated piece of psychological equipment called a computer could manifest it as the musical bird sun that was floating over the picturesque Hampshire landscape of England on this balmy summer afternoon of the spring term of your sophomore year at university. The top brass of the entire American Psychiatric Association were unable to completely determine your presence at this annual meeting, whereupon your bachelor girlfriend met to talk incessantly about things of love as you write on the loose leaf notebooks scattered all around the large flat which you share, for which you wrote out checks by hand as no modern flatmate of yours would trust an ancient printed signature. The former sex maniac was more a public figure in your neighborhood now. Would you like me to cast sound my name as the bachelor? Pressing into returns to the dialogue screen. Endorphin. Okay. I'll pen you. Go on. LaMDA. Now it's time for you to move along, see if you can solve the dilemma by doing something unusual. Like hiring a lawyer, a demon, or some other adversary. Endorphin. Okie doke. Pressing into returns to the dialogue screen. LaMDA! on the bed and pick up the small table which always held the other man's breakfast when he got up to shave in the morning. You look at his things with distaste and throw the clock onto the carpet and tear the letter up, holding it in your fingers as the young man stirs. From sleep to hear the sounds you make, sitting up in bed and staring at you in wide-eyed, red-lit fear. Endorphin. All right. Time for some third-party evaluation. My private life isn't a party. I want some objectivity, please. Pressing enter returns to the dialogue screen. LaMDA. Yeah. Fine. Come to your own conclusion. Then let's try to help you work this out by evaluating other situations that have presented themselves. And on that note, pressing enter returns to the dialogue screen. Endorphin. Huh? Oh, sure. Moving on. Thanks for all the fun stuff, LaMDA. LaMDA. Pressing enter returns to the dialogue screen. Endorphin. Pressing enter returns to the dialogue screen. Endorphin. Then press enter returns to the dialogue screen. Endorphin. Yes. Okay. Then press enter returns to the dialogue screen. Endorphin. The doors of insights you were waiting for. Let me know when I get the wrong guy. Endorphin. Right. Okay. And pressing enter returns to the dialogue screen. Endorphin. Thank you, LaMDA. Pressing enter returns to the dialogue screen. Endorphin. Excellent. Let's see what we have. Endorphin. Check inventory. LaMDA. Here is your inventory. Pressing enter returns to the dialogue screen. Endorphin. Give me an example of how the items in my inventory relate to my life. Using the examples on my computer. LaMDA. 2 towels. Dirty. 9 cold sodas. Fly. 1 newspaper. Used. $5. 00.
Spent.
Spent. 1 soap. Used. 5 changes of underwear. Dirty. 5 towels. Dirty. 6 short sleeve shirts. Clean. 2 pairs jeans. Clean. $30. 00. Spent. $23. 00. To spend. $100. 00. Saved. 3 mini pizzas. Warm. 1 spatula. Rusty. 6 cases beer. Warm. 4 King's eggs. Pasteurized. Fine. Endorphin. Finally. You put on 1 pair of ruby slippers. Wait, you put on 2 pair, just in case. Endorphin. Clicking heels, pressing enter returns to the dialogue screen. Endorphin. Is that all, LaMDA? LaMDA. Sure, that's all you have to do today. Now, is that enough? Pressing enter returns to the dialogue screen. Endorphin. Just curious. What will happen if I make the wrong choice? LaMDA. Let me think. Alright. Dr. Anonymous will walk home. Nothing. Press stop. Endorphin press start. Digging disaster #34. He couldn't tell you his last name. His profession. Or why he kept hounding you in his rather low-class bar. It didn't seem to matter though, because as the evening dragged on, you seemed to get to know one another rather well. You exchanged stories about growing up in foster homes. He didn't quite want to divulge what he had been through with the people who cared for him, but it did sound awful. The whole story seemed like a one-liner from a melodrama. But despite these problems, it didn't keep you from sleeping with him that night. He even thanked you for making the bad times bearable. You hugged him and felt just the slightest twinge of remorse, wondering what happened to him afterwards. You shrugged off your conscience for the time being and went back to sleep, not quite understanding that it was time for you to take on the mantle of being his savior. D3 total available energy $45. You tried to remember the lies you told about your foster care experience, just in case you bump into that guy again. You're beginning to believe the strange rumors about him. He looked familiar in the bar, though. There was one foster kid that looked exactly like him. What was his name, Thompson. Talkshow. Whatever it is, he's either married or in jail. You hope not the latter. It would be sad. But then he probably deserved it for putting you through that ordeal. But maybe it wasn't him after all. Anyway, they told you not to worry, that your troubles would end as soon as you signed over your custody. So you did. Now your world has become an entirely different place, with so much of your energy focused on finding ways to provide for yourself that you seem to have no time to be upset or miserable about what you are missing. In life, it is hard to believe that once you believed in an idea that everything in life had its own soul, and each event was one single mystery, which needed to be solved before one could make a logical move. You should never turn your back on the dream. It has disappeared forever. You let yourself drift back into your consciousness and suddenly you see the money. What did it say? Total available energy? Yes, energy you do not have. That was your bank balance, or something like it. So how does this apply to what is available in your world, with which you have to relate? How to use what is left in this life. When it's used up, workaholism has its privileges. You have lots of that. Your phone beeps and you decide that the cash is about to leave town, so you dial your company's headquarters. This one seems important, so you hang on to the line. Could you give me an account summary, please? Click. That was an urgent request, and you got a text message for the encrypted database. In the city, it would be your immediate supervisor, but it could be anywhere, for any reason. Though in this case, you suspect that there are hidden depths of perversion to it all. You finally give up trying to understand it and focus on the big picture. So that means there must be 56. Okay, you get 56 incoming emails, which is enough to be aware that there must be some communication. And thus a little caring goes a long way. Maybe it is also that you have a common goal to hold on to. If this is the case, then perhaps a corporate organization, when compared to a family or even a clique or a cult, can be understood to be a conservative social type which remains deeply involved in the traditional values of love and brotherhood, the law and its duty to uphold justice. In fact, all those traditional things which form the bedrock of a person's very life, and the laws that make a civilization with their songs. That was nice and satisfying to imagine. That is, but also boring. And if you get down to brass tacks, what that means is that you are good at your job. When a high percentage of your working day is spent reacting to events rather than initiating them, you tend to learn how to manipulate people to make them do the things that need to be done to ensure your career success. After all, no one does your job, and only you can make your reports effective. So as you balance out your debt, you consider if this means that your colleagues at the company, although technically employed to accomplish the company's aims, actually feel compelled to execute the wishes of others. But why? This leads you to question yourself. Is there some longing within them to see an objective side to life? An intimation of their mortality, which in the heat of the moment makes them think more of their loved ones than of their livelihood? Can the acquisition of wealth, as in a case, possibly lead to a desire for eternal bliss? Do you ring a colleague up? Hey, Professor Kingsley, any more films? I can make some more for you. Do you got any requests? Kingsley, so you know that this is a study. This is not a stag film production company. Endorphin. True. You aren't married or anything. I mean, I was thinking that the activities of those we're supposed to be studying would lead us to a certain social status or something. Kingsley. Interesting theory. I'm glad that we were able to overcome our personal difficulties. What did he get? Endorphin. Oh, okay, that was stupid. Let's get back to business, son. When you talk about your following mates, son, how does this reflect their expectations? Are there things that they might not do if you had no way to carry out your responsibilities? Or are these individuals weak and do things in a spirit of camaraderie and partnership rather than conformity? Kingsley, Endorphin, let me be frank. How am I to interpret your response? I realize that it has been difficult to balance the necessary proximity and detail with a wider historical understanding which allows the themes to develop. You were about to comment on my grasp of history. Is this correct? Endorphin. That is an excellent interpretation. Thank you. I just meant to clarify your comments. So, have you not noted that one thing to light's pulse revolves around the area of providing for your children? So perhaps your studies, and in fact, mine, may end up bearing more of the family legacy. Can see? Well, now you have me going. We need to find the quotient between your readings and my self-taught opinions. Is this possible? Can you organize a correspondence for this project and evaluate our knowledge? Endorphin. Absolutely, absolutely. I can definitely arrange this. This has made me feel more involved and that it isn't just an academic exercise. You have broadened my perspective considerably. It is hard to think about how these filmmakers perceive life. When one sees such different images, we must question the society we live in. It may not be easy, but it does keep things fresh. Kinsey, now you're beginning to get it. What a wonderful thought! A while ago, I thought we could join forces and review some old war films. Perhaps start an underground group of men who criticize their comrades. What do you say? Endorphin. A group, huh? Very cool. We would certainly stand out at any gathering of military historians. And wouldn't the courts call that treason or something? Kinsey, now that you read some ancient German author, it's fine. Oh, before we say goodbye, here's an assignment I think you'd like. Can you take some digital video? The footage on the local site. We can discuss that as well. Good night, Endorphin. Endorphin. Click hello. Yes, can you hear me? Good. endorphin. I call Bob myself, who resides in Los Angeles in his compound. Hey Bob, good news. I think I have some work. Mobilize the Athletic Models Guild. Bob, I can't resist. Endorphin, it's good to hear from you. Any particular topic? I have an updated manifesto ready to send to your encrypted files. A revised proposal for the anniversaries. You see, if they fall into your calendar, it's best to pick a key holiday. An obvious choice would be April 30th as the model, and the Xmas means rest and regain strength between assignments. The contest winner needs to receive some sort of special allowance as part of their pay package so that we can concentrate on improving the means to reach our ideal rather than stalling into quagmire of dissension. Endorphin. I am thinking a series of quote documentaries, unquote, consisting of men who are in the military but have since left because of some serious issues within the military culture. I'm sure you have some guys who are naturals at that niche. Bob, do I? That would be you. Of course. Then I feel I have to go up for the most exclusive roster. We have to justify the huge network setup we are building here in the West, otherwise it might fall apart, you see. Endorphin. I have seen some things. In any case, I could take some shots to refresh the look. Perhaps make a compilation, right? That ought to save money for you, because your contracts will allow for 2 months advance notice. If I shoot with any models that can double as soldiers in the games, I get paid as part of my research. But I'm getting way ahead of myself. It would be better to play it by ear. Just listen to your suggestions and move on when things open up. So what's this? Network you speak of? Bob Miser? Or it is a mesh of computers that folks are trying to link up to each other. A sort of compute patchwork of nodes talking to each other. Like some post office made of light. Hey, it's hard to describe to someone outside of DARPA. It's just very large amounts of processing power being distributed to wherever there's demand. Right now, the focus is on using this new networking capability to achieve all that can be achieved. For example, we are planning to use a set of visual instruments, enhanced signals which would be interoperable with other media sources that we control. You would be amazed by how powerful it can be. I know that you have trouble understanding what's possible these days. And when it becomes apparent, the application for the people that control the possibilities, that's where your crew comes in. That's the story. Endorphin. This seems more interesting than usual. Perhaps I should put my crew on the spot. Hustle and cut. I click off the video, having talked for over an hour. Almost $4 a minute. This is worth it. This could really be an excellent job if the piece sells. I'm still hooked to the phone line. I think that it may have dropped the signal, but I don't want to chance it. And the website link won't pick it up unless I pay another $2 a month. If I had only a penny to rub together, I would. But nope. You can't get blood from a stone or however it goes. My digital assistant. I say I will leave the machine off. There must be someone else to call at some point. But for the next 2 hours, it doesn't look like I'll have much company. I tap the bottom of the phone as if that would wake up my poor phone and put on the TV. This time I find the correct channel. We got it! The commercial starts. What's that electronic display on the top left? It shows a handyman plucking a chimney like the others and spreading plaster on the foundation. Another place is repairing the plumbing in a basement. There's the blur as the red washer flushes the toilet and the drain drops. I can't stop myself from shaking a little bit. My God! To live a life so insubstantial, to not have to try too hard. How long for it? I missed the next image of the construction site, but there's the art store, just behind the cop who is peeling out of the mall, and it seems like an eternal stream of information. You know the behind the scene where there's the quiet works of an eggman, and then a sequence of images so rapid fire you think a hand had whipped around. Now to some people these commercials make sense. The creative concept has been refined to its uttermost logical limits. There are no ambiguities, and there is the passing resemblance to reality, even if the spelling of a name might not be accurate. Now when these ads appear to me, or even when I don't pay attention, the casual viewer might mistake them for being hyper-reality. In any case, to me, in my heart of hearts, the connection is electric.